Gentlemen, once again, you're back to my channel. It's your boy, Enairo. On today's episode, we're going to be talking to you on what you need to know before you come to Brazil. On that being said, please, I want you to click on the like button, subscribe, comment, and share this video so that it may get to many people around the world. Without wasting much of our time, we're going to bounce back to the topic of the day. What you need to know before coming to Brazil. First, you have to find out if you'll be needing a visa to come to Brazil, because there are countries that are in South America, some parts in Africa, and some other part of America, North America, who will not be needing a visa to come to Brazil. So that's the first. On the second note, you have to know that all foreigners in Brazil are entitled to free healthcare services. So, but I will advise it will be better if you get an healthcare insurance from your country where you will be coming from. But if you feel like when you get here you prefer the service here, or you're not that kind of person who usually gets sick every now and then maybe the free healthcare service here in Brazil can take care of you. On the other note, you have to worry about your personal security. Your personal security is paramount wherever you go to anywhere in the world. Now, in South America, security is usually a problem, like in some part of Africa. So, it's usually not something that you have to worry too much about, but you don't have to attract attention to yourself. Like when you go around, you don't have to carry your phone around, like showing up your phones, using necklaces like golden necklaces and wristwatches that will attract attention to you. You have to avoid attracting attention to you. Another thing you want to know is finance using ATM around Brazil. Now, ATM around Brazil are usually in places, public places, are usually in public places where you can get trouble. And when you go to these public places, you also have to be vigilant, because there might be some persons around trying to look at you, watching you as soon as you get up, snatch your bag or your purse from you. So you have to be careful about that. Usually the system of Brazil, they also operate credit card services. So for those who have the international visa card and who can get to a bank, who can get a bank that can transfer their funds to Brazil when they are coming to Brazil, it will be better for you so that you will be operating a cashless traveling. Another important thing you have to know is that there are hardly nobody that speaks Portuguese, English in Brazil. That is to say, it is hard to find someone who speaks English, because the language here is Portuguese. And there are people who actually think that in Brazil, what they speak here is Spanish, because it's Latin America, so they think Argentina speaks Spanish, Uruguay, Paraguay, they speak Spanish, so definitely Brazil will be speaking Spanish. No, you get it all wrong. Brazil speaks Portuguese, and the Portuguese that is being spoken in Brazil is quite a little bit different from the one that is spoken in Portugal. So in Brazil, the language here is Portuguese. So I want you to get that so that you don't get the shock of your life when you get here, because it will be very hard for you to get. Understand? So getting that, I want you to know that Brazilians like parties. They like parties. It's one of the best things that can happen here in Brazil during the weekends, especially when it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everybody is going back home, resting a lot, so that they can go to work on Monday. But one thing you should note is that during this party, everybody, each and every person participates in these parties. They have what they call kits. You have to go with your your steak. You have to go with maybe a packet of beer. You have to go, if you're drinking whiskey, you have to go with whiskey. Or if this party is taking place in a restaurant, after drinking, everybody pay for each. You have to pay for yourself, and pay for your spouse. But if it is a collective B, then they calculate the money that has been spent and they share it for everybody to participate. Okay, that is that. So you have to be careful when you go to party in Brazil so that you don't get caught unaware. Now, before you come to Brazil, make sure you take your vaccines because that is very paramount. You have to take your vaccines, the diabetes, yellow fever. You have to make sure that you get it all done and so that you'll be safe. Um, Learn a little bit of the Portuguese before you come, like saying good morning, bom dia, onde você está, onde você vai, like where are you going, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you, like obrigado. You say obrigado when you want to say thank you, say obrigado. That is very important. As a stranger, you have to show that you are educated. They say educado. You have to show that you have courtesy, so that people will not look at you like someone that is ignorant. Okay. Now, I want you to also know that Brazil is quite expensive. So when you're coming to Brazil, get prepared. If you're coming to Brazil let's say for an holiday, you have to be prepared because Brazil is quite expensive. Another thing you should know is that in Brazil, Brazilians have one of the best food cousins in Latin America. Brazil is where you can find one of the best food in Latin America because you have their culture being influenced by culture from many parts of the world, like the African culture, the Chinese culture, the Japanese culture, the Italian culture, the original indigenous of Brazil, which are the Indians. You have that culture. So with that, it's the conglomeration of cousins that helps the culture to skyrocket in food making. When you come here, you try their food. Like one thing as a stranger, when you come to Brazil, that you would like to try is their feijoada. That is being influenced by the African culture. Is some persons have written books or said laid claims that this culture came from the Portuguese culture, but some other person also said it came during the slavery, and it should not be said that it came from the Portuguese. But that is that. I'm just telling you that one of the good food that you might want to try when you come to Brazil is the feijoada. You also have the acarajé. So that's one thing you would like to try when you come to Brazil. Now, when you come to Brazil as a stranger, the Brazilians, they call you gringo. They say gringo, especially for those who is coming from North America. If you're white, they say, oh, gringo, gringo. Once you speak English, they say gringo, gringo. So you be very you hear that all the time. So don't feel offended. Now, you have to know the culture of Brazilians. Another thing you have to know is the culture about signs and symbols. There are things you do in Brazil that would seem to be, they will read other meanings to it. Like when you do this sign in America, it's okay. Here in Brazil, it's on the other way around. It's something else. So avoid giving signs and giving some unnecessary signs so that you won't get in trouble when you are in Brazil. Now, transportation, that is another thing you have to know. Transportation in Brazil, it's for those who are coming to Brazil and don't want to spend so much, you can take the public transport. Is very let me say it's organized, it's well organized. If you know where you're going to and how to get there, it's organized. You can get to your destination cheap and a little bit delay, but not that delay. But I would advise that if you don't know if you're not too conversant with where you're going, I will advise that you take Uber or the state taxi, because in Brazil every state has a taxi which belongs to the government. Like in Rio de Janeiro, you have the taxi with yellow and blue stripes. In Campinas, you have in São Paulo, you have the taxi with white and blue stripe. In other cities, I haven't really been to Brazil, and so I don't know what to tell you about that. But the fastest means for you to get around and don't get lost as fast as possible is by Uber or 99. That's the Chinese company. Yeah, they call it Novi Novi. So it means 99. So it's either you're taking Uber or you're taking Novi Novi, so you can get around. With that being said, I guess we've come to the end of this. We've come to the end of this video. Until I meet you again, please, I want you to subscribe, like, share this video, and comment below. If you have any suggestion of any other video that you want us to do, if you have any question for us, please get back to us on the comment section, and I bet you we'll get back to you. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and God bless you. Until I meet you again, peace out.